Hold on, let me see if I can catch this. Oh, wow. But how fantastic to see that going straight over the polytunnel. You can't get better than that. Anyway, why am I here? I'll tell you why I'm here. Because today is the day I finally get in my poor old loofah. Can you see this now? The loofah, which has already started attaching itself to the frame. It's given up on me planting it. But the loofah I got from Ali and Trish at the lovely Right Pear Plot. I've got a couple of my loofah to go in as well. I've got some cucumber to go in. I've got some melons to go in. I've got some yard-long beans to go in. Oh, and an aubergine, if I've got room. But if you remember at the beginning of the season, I was talking about the fact that I wanted to build some form of raised bed at the foot of the arches, and I even had some wood for it, and probably in about 8 or 9 videos you'll have seen the wood just stacked against the trellis down there, not doing anything at all. Well, that has now gone. That whole idea has disappeared because I've been approached by Vegega, I think it's Vegega. I spoke to the lady concerned and she said it's pronounced veggie for vegetables and gar for garden. So I'm calling it Vegega. Let me know what you think. And they have offered some raised beds. So I've got 4 2-foot square beds. Now you might think, why don't you just use a pot? That's quite small, but that size will fit perfectly around each foot here, and I didn't want it to be much bigger. Before I carry on, let me go and get the beds and I'll show you what I mean. I tell you what, it's heavy. Probably should have brought these up in the wheelbarrow, but let's get it set up over here. I've been looking into some metal raised beds for a while, and I was completely bamboozled because there are so many on the market now. It's obviously a very popular thing, you know, and as a fan of raised beds, I've always gone for the wood because I sort of think, yeah, it breaks down a bit, but they're reliable to an extent. But I was amazed at the different specs with all the different beds. So before I accepted these, I really looked into it. I watched quite a lot of videos of other people reviewing them just to see if they would actually work, because I don't want to be putting something in the polytunnel, taking the time and effort to set it up, to plant my precious plants, and to be saying to you, this is fantastic, if I genuinely don't think it is. So 2 2-foot square beds. The most fun thing I always think of whenever I buy, I don't know, it can be a car. That doesn't happen very often, once every 15 years, or it can be painting the front door, or it can be a jumper. I love to know what the colours are. I love to know what the choice of colours are. And so this one, I was thrilled because it's got one of my favourite colours. It had black, silver, a darker green, and I think it might even in some of the beds, I think it's got like a gold colour as well, and a cream, but I chose this one because this is just exactly what I like, and this is called Reseda Green. Again, I might be saying it wrong, but you can see there, quite a nice colour, more of a sagey green colour, which I think will look nice in here. So I need 4 of those. So these are the corners. I mean, it should be, fingers crossed, dead straightforward to do. So 4 corners, I need 4 of them. And then these might be slightly trickier to get out because again, the weight, oh, there we go. They are quite heavy if I do that, which I'll probably regret in a minute. Hopefully, does that fit just exactly right? Yeah, good. Because I don't want to be doing these on the floor. These are the sides. Now again, I went for 17 inches. They do a really deep one, 30 odd inches, but for in here I don't want that. I did try and get the 12-inch one, 12-inch high, because that would have been quite enough, but they didn't have that in stock, so I've gone for 17. Again, you don't have to fill it all straight away, but you can see, what can you say, it's a square of what looks like corrugated metal in a nice colour. So yeah, 4 of these, 4 corners. Let's get them all out. Again, I've already nearly killed the dill. I don't want to kill it again. And then I'll show you what else is in the box. Sorry, dill. Okay, what's this? Complete guide to start your gardening. So you've got a nice booklet there, nice instruction booklet with basically all the different shapes and sizes that they do. And it's, I mean, they do round ones, they do really weird shape ones, they do one that's called a castle. I can't see if I can find it in here, and it's basically like rounded edge rectangle, if that makes sense, and it's got like a circle on each end, so like little turrets, so that looks interesting. I don't think I'll be going with that one, but yeah, okay, basic assembly instruction there. Will I need it? We will see. What else have I got? Okay, so that's the plasticky, rubbery stuff that goes on the edges. Apparently one of the things you really need to look out for when you're buying anything that's going to be outside, even though this is in a polytunnel, it's classed as outside, have a little look at where rust might get in. So for example, all these edges, do be careful of the edges. I have just cut myself. It's not the fault of the product, that's just me. I should have probably have had gloves on. And once this is all put together and you have got your rubber binding around the top, that'll all be sorted. But yeah, check and see if there's any scratches, any dents along the edges, but also where the bolts are going to go through the holes, because that is where rust can set in, and once it's set in, it can get into the whole corner. Now, these have got a 20-year guarantee, so I am hoping, and from the research that I've done from other people who've used these, they are very, very happy that they've got no rust in at all. And as far as I can see, I don't need the instruction book. Famous last words. You've got 4 bolt holes there, you've got 4 bolt holes there. I'm going to put the bolts through there on the outside, the washer and the nut on the inside, and then not tighten them too much. Sometimes people tighten each one as they go, but leave a little bit of slack on each one as you go, and then tighten them all together at the end. And soon we should have a box. Let's have a go. Right, I have now shifted this. I mean, once this protective plastic edging is on, you can lift that up no problem, but I've shifted it to within, say, 3 or 4 inches away from the plastic of the polytunnel, for obvious reasons, because if this does heat up, then I don't want it touching the plastic. One of the benefits though of it heating up ever so slightly is it will warm the soil that's inside here as opposed to the soil that's just on ground level in the polytunnel itself. So it's ideal to have that warmer soil for things like melons, your loofahs. I've got my yard-long beans to go in. So before I fill it up and give the loofah, sounds awful, its final resting place, let me just remind you that below in the details there's a 10% discount code. From what I know of these already, I would highly recommend them. If you're going to go for a metal raised bed, I do think these are going to be worth the money. 20-year guarantee, what can go wrong? So yeah, I'll come back to you when this is done.